Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Andrew with Iron Card Gaming. Before we get into the deck profile, let me remind you guys to like, comment, subscribe on the video. Subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with the meta, what's going on with Yu-Gi-Oh!, product openings, and more. This Thursday we're going to be doing a 2 to 3 box opening of Phantom Rage, see if we can't pull that Starlight Rare or some of the other best cards from the new box. And without further ado, let's get into the deck profile. So obviously, first off, we're going to start off with your boss monsters. You're doing 1 Dogma, 1 Plasma. Basically, their summoning conditions are the same. Special summon by attributing 3 monsters, and at least one of them has to be a Destiny hero. Dogma's effect, once it's summoned, your opponent halves their life points during their next standby phase. And then Plasmas, you get to take control of one of your opponent's monsters, and Plasma gains half that attack. So you basically get to do damage to your opponent without attacking, and take one of their problematic monsters out. Then I play 2 Malicious. Everybody knows what Malicious does. This card's constantly on and off the limited and semi-limited list. Right now it's at 2. With this card, you can banish this card from your graveyard. Special summon 1 Destiny Hero Malicious from your deck. Pretty effective for getting a monster on the board. Then I play 1 Destiny Hero Dynatag. This card's effect is during damage calculation in either player's turn. When you would take battle damage, you can discard this card, make yourself take no battle damage from that battle, and if you do, each player takes 1,000 damage. You can banish this card from your graveyard. Then target 1 Destiny Hero monster you control, and it gains 1,000 attack until the end of your opponent's standby phase. So basically, you can do this, banish this card from your graveyard, and target Plasma or Dogma or one of your Destiny fusion monsters, and power it up for until your next standby phase and through your opponent's turn. Then I play 3 Drill Darks. Basically what this card does is, if this card is normal or special summoned, you can special summon 1 Destiny Hero monster from your hand with attack less than or equal to this card's attack on the field. You can only use the effect of Destiny Hero Drill Dark once per turn. If this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage. So not only do you get to summon an extra monster, if you attack your opponent's monster in defense position, you get to deal piercing battle damage. Great way to bust through your opponent's defenses. Then I play 1 Destiny Hero Decider. Basically, what this card's effect is, level 6 or higher monster your opponent controls cannot target this card. For attack, you can only use each of the following effects of Destiny Hero Decider once per duel. The first effect is if this card is normal or special summoned, add 1 hero monster from your graveyard to your hand during the end phase of his turn. Second effect, during either player's turn, when a card or effect is activated that would inflict damage to you, while this card is in your graveyard, return this card to your hand, and if you do, make that effect damage 0. So, great way to avoid damage. Only sucks that you can use each effect once per duel. Then I play 1 Destiny Hero Celestial. When this card declares an attack, you can target 1 face-up spell your opponent controls, destroy it, and if you do, inflict 500 damage to your opponent. While you have no cards in your hand except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card, and 1 Destiny Hero monster from your graveyard, draw 2 cards. You can only use the effect of Destiny Hero Celestial once per turn. So it's basically a good way to get an extra card in your hand. Then I play 1 Destiny Hero Diamond Dude. Once per turn, you can excavate the top of your deck, And if it's a normal spell, send it to the graveyard. Otherwise, place it on the bottom of your deck during your main phase of your next turn. You can activate the effect of that spell in your graveyard, even if you no longer control the face-up card. So basically, it's a good way to pop a free, Destiny draw or Destiny Fusion, if that's the remember, or Fusion Destiny, I'm sorry. Good way to pop cards in the graveyard. Then I play one Destiny Hero draw hand. Basically, his effect is if this card is special summoned by the effect of a hero monster, you can make each player draw one card during the next standby phase. After this card was sent to the graveyard, you can special summon this card from your graveyard, but banish it when it leaves the field, and you can only use it once per turn. So it's a good way to get an extra card and a body on the board. Then I play one Destiny Hero Disc Commander. This card's got an interesting effect. It cannot be special summoned from the graveyard. The turn it was sent to the graveyard, if this card is special summoned from the graveyard, you can draw 2 cards. You can only use the effect once per duel. So it's a good way to get 2 cards in your hand. Then I play one Destiny Hero Dreamer. This card's effect is during damage calculation, if your Destiny Hero monster battles and this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card and make the monster unable to be destroyed by battle. And if you do, you take no battle damage from that battle. If summoned this way, banish this card when it leaves the field. You can only use this once per turn. So it's a good way to avoid damage just in case you might lose the duel or take a lot of damage. And then the card that I feel like everybody sleeps on with Destiny Hero decks is D-Cube. So basically for me, and all the times I've played this with my friends, D-Cube's been the best way I've been able to get out Dogma, Plasma, and and at that point, once I get one of them on the board, my opponent struggles the rest of the duel. Basically, D-Cube's effect is, if this card is normal summoned, it is also treated as a Destiny Hero monster while face up on the field. You can only use the effect of use each of the following effects once per turn. Basically, the one you're going to be using is you can discard up to 2 cards, special summon D-Cubed from your hand, deck, and or graveyard, equal to the number of discarded monsters. Also, for the rest of the turn, you cannot normal or special summon other monsters except Destiny Hero monsters. So basically, with that said, like I said, best way to get Dogma or Plasma out on the field is you normal summon, special summon, and then you would either next turn you'd be able to get your Plasma out or your Dogma. Very effective. And then I tried to keep it as pure as I could with the Destiny Hero engine, but because I run masked heroes in my extra deck, here's only a few elemental heroes that I run. So starting off with the elemental heroes, I'm running 3 Stratos. Everybody knows what Stratos is. I'm glad to have this card back off the ban list. Stratos' effect is when this card is normal or special summoned, you can activate one of these effects. First effect, destroy a spell or trap card on the field up to the number of hero monsters you control, except this card. Second effect is add 1 hero monster from your deck to hand. So it's a good way to get rid of your opponent's back row, or add a monster card that you need from your deck to your hand. Then I play 3 Elemental Hero Solid Soldiers. Basically, this is almost like a drill dart. When this card's effect is when this card is normal summoned, you can special summon 1 level 4 or lower hero monster from your hand. If this card is sent from the monster zone to the graveyard by a spell effect, you can target 1 hero monster in your graveyard except Elemental Hero Solid Soldier, special summon it in defense position. You can only use this effect once per turn. So basically, you summon him out, you can summon a Drill Dart, and then your Drill Dart summons someone else out. So it'd be your normal, special summon, another special summon, and then at that point you could special summon out you know, Dogma or Plasma, and you know, there's a lot of easy ways to get those two monsters out on the board, which, you know, at that point gives your opponent an uphill battle. And then I play 2 Elemental Hero Shadow Mist. Basically, the only reason I'm running Shadow Mist is because for mask change, and this card's effect is if this card is special summon, you can add 1 change quick play spell card from your deck to your hand. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add 1 hero monster from your deck to your hand except Elemental Hero Shadow Mist. You can only use the effect of Elemental Shadow Mist once per turn, and only once that turn. So, you know, it's a good way to get mask change into your hand, and then, you know, go into whichever masked hero you want to go into. And then for the last monsters and the last Elemental Hero, it's 1 Liquid Soldier. Liquid Soldier's effect is when this card is normal summoned, you can target 1 level 4 or lower hero monster in your graveyard except Elemental Hero Liquid Soldier, special summon it. If this card is used as fusion material for a hero monster and sent to the graveyard or banished, you can draw 2 cards and discard 1 card. You can only use the effect of Liquid Soldier once per turn. So, you know, obviously you're going to use him for, you're going to use Liquid Soldier basically just to summon out Absolute Zero. But, you know, it's also good to get 2 cards. You know, that's it for the monsters. Now it's on to the spells. So for starting off with spells, I play 3 Destiny Draw. You know, a great way to discard 1 Destiny Hero monster, draw 2 cards. You know, if you're able to draw into, you know, all 3 of these, you know, that's practically 6 cards in one shot, because that's not a hard once per turn. Then I play 3 Over Destiny. Basically, you can target 1 Destiny Hero monster in your graveyard, special summon 1 Destiny Hero monster from your deck, whose level is less than or equal to half that target's level, but destroy it during the end phase. You know, it's a good way to get your fusion materials if they're already in the graveyard to the field. Fusion summon, and then, you know, you already don't have to worry about getting rid of the monster. Then, since this is a heavy fusion deck, I'm running 3 Fusion Destinies. Fusion Destiny allows you to fusion summon 1 fusion monster from your extra deck that lists a Destiny Hero monster as a material, using monsters from your hand or deck as fusion materials, but destroy it during the end phase of the next turn. Also, for the rest of the turn after this card resolves, you cannot special summon monsters except Dark Hero monsters. You can only use 1 Destiny fusion per turn, or Fusion Destiny per turn. So, you know, that works. Your whole deck is Dark Hero monsters for the most part, and, you know, it gets you a good boss monster on the field. Then, you know, basic fusion spells, I'm using, you know, Miracle Fusion and Polymerization. You know, Polymerization allows you to fusion summon Miracle Fusion, fusion summon 1 Elemental Hero fusion monster from your deck by banishing fusion material monsters. Fusion materials listed from your field or your graveyard. And then, like I said, you know, I run Shadow Mist, running 3 Mask Chains. Basically, you can target 1 hero monster you control, and send it to the graveyard, then special summon 1 masked hero monster from your extra deck with the same attribute as that hero monster that had when it was on the field. So, you know, you get to choose which hero monster you want to, masked hero you want to bring out. And then for bringing monsters back from the graveyard, you know, I'm only running 1 Reinforcement of the Army and 1 Monster Reborn. You know, basically you can pull any monster from your graveyard, and same thing with Monster Reborn. Field spells, I know a lot of people don't play field spells with this deck, but, you know, I personally like to run Dark City. Dark City is when a Destiny Hero monster attacks. If the attack is lower than the attack that the attack target is, basically if your attack's lower than your target's attack, you gain 1,000 attack during the damage calculation only. So, you know, that's definitely going to push you over the top for beating over opponent's monsters. And then for traps, I run 2 Destiny Signals. Basically what these cards do is when a monster you control is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, special summon 1 level 4 Destiny Hero monster from your hand or deck. You know, it's a good way to get an extra body on the board just in case you lose your monster. That's it for the main deck. Let's move on to the extra deck. So extra deck, I'm running 2 Destiny Hero Dominance. Basically what Dominance does is during your main phase you can look at the top 5 cards of your deck or your opponent's deck and then place them on top of the deck in any order. When this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can draw 1 card. If this fusion summon card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can target 3 level 9 or lower Destiny Hero monsters with different names in your graveyard, special summon them. So, you know, not only do you get to, you know, beat your opponent down, rearrange their deck, even if your opponent destroys this card, you get to put 3 bodies on the board. And, you know, that gets you into 2 of your normal boss monsters, either Dogma or Plasma. Definitely a very effective card for this deck. Then I played Destiny Hero Dangerous. Dangerous is quick effect. You can discard 1 card, send 1 Destiny Hero monster from your hand or deck to the graveyard, and if you do, Destiny Hero monsters you control gain 200 attack for each Destiny Hero monster in your graveyard until the end of the turn. So, you know, let's say you get him on the board, you've got a couple other Destiny Hero monsters, and you have most of your Destiny Hero monsters in your deck or in your graveyard. You know, you're gaining a crap ton of power off just 1 card. So, very effective way to overpower your opponent. Then I'm playing 1 Destiny Hero Dystopia. Dystopia's effect is if this card is special summoned, you can target 1 level 4 or lower Destiny Hero monster in the graveyard, inflict damage to your opponent equal to that target's attack during either player's turn. If this card's current attack is different from its attack during either player's turn. If this card is different from its original attack, except during the damage step, you can target 1 card on the field, destroy it, and if you do, this card's attack becomes equal to that card's original attack. So basically you get to power up this card as well. So, you know, you're stacking 28, and let's say, you know, you destroy Dogma, you know, you're adding 3,400 to this thing's attack. Definitely a good way to overpower your opponent. Then I've got 1 Destiny Hero Dystopia. Dystopia's effect is if this fusion summon card, if this card is fusion summoned, you can summon 1 fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as fusion materials once per turn. Quick effect, you can target 1 monster on the field, make it unable to be destroyed by battle or card effect, and if you do, neither player takes battle damage from attacks involving that monster. These effects last until the end of this turn. So, you know, it's a good way to get another boss monster on the board, and it can't be destroyed by battle. The only downfall is you know, your opponent's not going to take any damage from it. But good way to get another body on the board. Then, you know, since you're running Dogma and Plasma, you know, I run 1 Destiny and Dragoon. And basically what this card does is a fusion summon monster can only be conducted with the fusion materials above. Once per turn, you can destroy 1 monster in your opponent controls, inflict damage to your opponent equal to its attack. If you activate this effect, you cannot conduct your battle phase this turn. During the standby phase, if this card is in your graveyard, you can remove it from play and 1 Destiny Hero card from your graveyard and special summon this card. So basically, if this is in your graveyard, you remove a Destiny Hero card from play, and you can bring him back onto the board, and then, you know, continue to wreak havoc. Then I play one Vision Hero Trinity. You basically summon him with 3 hero monsters. After this card is fusion summoned for the rest of the turn, this card's attack becomes double its original attack. This fusion summon card can make a second attack and a third attack during each battle phase, but it can't attack directly. So you know it's a good way to clear your opponent's board of problematic monsters. But you know, let's say you clear their board and you still have an attack, you can't attack them directly. But a good way to free up the board. Then I play one elemental hero, Sunrise, and then one elemental hero, Absolute Zero. You know, so Sunrise's effect is you can only use one of each of the following effects of Elemental Hero Sunrise once per turn. His first effect is if this card is special summoned, add 1 Miracle Fusion from your deck to your hand. Second one is when this card declares an attack involving another hero monster you control, you can target 1 card on the field and destroy it. Absolute Zero's effect is it gains 500 attack for each water monster on the field except Elemental Hero Absolute Zero. If this card leaves the field, destroy all monsters your opponent controls. You know, good way if you can link it away or get it into the graveyard somehow on your own, you know, you get to wipe your opponent's board. So, good way to clear your your opponent's monster zone. Then, since playing Mass Change, I play 2 Dark Law. Dark Law, basically, you know, any card that's supposed to go to the graveyard, it's banished instead once per turn if your opponent adds a card from their deck to their hand, except during the draw phase or the damage step. You can banish 1 random card from your opponent's hand. So, you know, it's a good way to, you know, keep your opponent on edge and make sure that they're not able to special summon from the graveyard. And my last masked hero is Masked Hero Acid. Must be special summoned with Mass Change and cannot be special summoned by any other ways. When this card is special summoned, destroy all spell and trap cards your opponents control, and if you do, all monsters they control lose 300 attack. Good way to clear your opponent's back row, especially if they're very trap heavy. And then, you know, good way to power down your opponent's monsters. And then for my links, I'm playing 1 extra hero Dread Decimator and then 2 extra hero Cross Crusaders. Dread Decimator's effect is basically this card, also any hero monster it points to, gain 100 attack for each hero monster with different name in your graveyard. If this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage. Definitely a good way to power up all your Destiny hero, any hero monster you have, and itself. And then Cross Crusader's effect is if this card is link summoned, you can target 1 Destiny hero monster in your graveyard, special summon it. You contribute 1 Destiny hero monster, add a 1 hero monster to your hand. 1 hero monster with a different name from your deck to your hand. You can only use each of the effects of Cross Crusader once per turn. Also, you cannot special summon monsters the turn you activate either of these effects. So, you know, 1 basically gets you an extra body on the board or brings the monster back from the graveyard. And you know, that's the Destiny Hero deck, guys. I hope you all enjoyed. Hope you guys have a happy Wednesday. And I look forward to doing the box opening on Thursday with you guys. Alright, peace.